YouTube, hello! Today we're going to hear a bit from Xyzz, our current ranked ace on the Purple Among Us server. He's going to give a few tips on how to play better Crewmate and Imposter. So tune in and see how you can apply this to your games. Enjoy! Cool. Alright. Go for it. So, take it away.
So I'm gonna give some tips on Impostor and Crewmate, but I personally feel like there's not any tips that can actually help you get better at the game. This is not a game like Valorant where you can play every day and improve mechanically. I think that most of the game is just based off knowledge and how things work. But there are some general tips that can help you win more games that are not strats at best. So my tip for Crewmate, I'm gonna start with Crewmate. One of my tips for Crew would be to in a meeting, right, just listen to what good crew are saying. So for example, if you see people that you think are good at the game, right, just listen to what their opinions are. Don't follow them, don't say anything, don't say anything, just listen to what they're saying, and if they're not saying anything, ask them who they think the imp is, right? So after that, if they die, you can follow what they said, because most of the time good players normally do have a correct sus. So after the die, you just you bring it up. You're like, oh well, I want to shoot this guy because quote unquote aspect said I think it's him. Now XYZ is dead. He hard accused this guy, or he sus this guy, like that. You can do it like that. But this is especially useful if you just specifically ask them who they think the imp is, like during a meeting. Just ask them specifically who they think the imp is, but be sure to not vote with them on 6 if they're not dead, or if you think they're not guaranteed crew, just because they could be the imp, and that's how you throw most games, because people just vote with good players using this strat. So I'd be careful.
Describe that as sheeping.
Yeah, sheeping. You shouldn't sheep, but in my eyes, you should always listen to them if they die. On 6, but on 6 or 5 or 4 or 3, if they're alive. Yeah. You should not follow what they're saying.
That principle that you brought up there is really important. Like, listen to dead crew is a good sort of mantra to keep in mind.
Yeah. So that's listening to dead crew is really important, but just be careful to not listen to players that are genuinely known for throwing. I know this might seem a bit harsh, but just be careful taking info from dead crewmates that are not that experienced at the game, just because they could be misclearing or doing something like that.
Yeah, that's true, but at least you know that they're not imposter. They might be third imping, but at least they're not first or second imp.
Yeah. Also, another thing I would suggest is basically, as crewmate, you should be trying to get your own info, right? I've seen a lot of new players just doing their tasks at left side, right side, just going office, and after they do their task left side, they go office once, right? But in my eyes, most of the time you're gonna die before it's a task win. So in my eyes, you should go office, stay in office for a bit, maybe leave for a second, do one task, come back, do one task, come back again.
Yeah, that's definitely conservative play. I do that when I'm in base scanner because I really don't want to die as a hard player.
Yeah, I just feel like that is really beneficial, and you should be playing for your own info a lot more. I also feel like some people, if just in case you have no info, you should. Another tip is that this is just a strat. It's not really a general tip. It's just something that is really specific and scenario specific. But if you know your crew and you think you know the imp, try to lead the vote before it is less than 20 seconds. Say who you think you're gonna shoot, and then confirm your vote in the last 15 seconds. Say I'm gonna vote Bricknick in 22-25 seconds, and then after it reaches the 15-minute mark, say your vote out loud and very clearly that you're voting Bricknick if you're a crew or if you're imp. In both situations, that is really important. It can result in some people voting with you because they don't know who to vote. That's why. Yeah. I think that those are it for crew. For imposters, I would generally suggest number 1, you should always know what your teammate is going to do, right? You should not if you think, for example, if my teammate is Maniac, right? I know he's a really fast killer, so I'm going to try to play office and get cleared. Even if I don't play office, I will try to get cleared no matter what. Because if you're not cleared for a kill and Maniac somehow gets cleared, you are throwing the game. Because if both imps get cleared for a kill, you can literally pair up every single round and just win the game off that. So, and yeah, this is also another tip in itself. If you and your imposter teammate get cleared for the same kill by a crewmate, you should try killing that crewmate right? If they're not hard clear, try killing them, and then just pair up every round, and you can just bring up that you were both cleared for the same kill, and that you are not a pair. Just start clearing each other, start scanning each other. I don't care. Just pair up. Just start pairing up. That's how you win the game if you get cleared for your own kill.
And even better, then you can say, listen to dead crew who cleared you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's gold. Love that.
Yeah.
Another tip that I like to do as imp is try to give some clears, because it makes you look like a crewmate. If you're just silent, it's a bit of a meta read.
Yeah. Honestly, I also think that it's really important. If you're not that experienced of a player, I feel like acting dumb is one of the best strats you could do. Acting. Listen, I know this might seem a bit controversial, but listen, if I was not like as known for being good, I would play terribly, and I would win more imp games off that.
It's
you
true.
can play terribly.
Yeah, you get a reputation disadvantage. If people know that you're a good player, they expect you to play well, and if you're not playing well, they think you're imp.
Exactly. So if you're a bad player, just start like throwing, just start saying dumb shit, start like asking like in the meeting, right? I'll give you a really good tip. In a meeting, if you think your imposter team is about to get shot or I mean sussed and the clears are pointing towards him, start asking random questions.
Yep.
Start asking people in the meeting what was your pausing randomly.
Yes.
Start asking what they did that round, what toss they did, what was their pausing.
This is brilliant, and I've done that too. Like there's a video called the Rocker Diversion, where I can't remember exactly who's getting voted, but my imp teammate is about to get voted. I think it might be Rez. And then I start asking everyone to talk about Rocker faking a node, and it completely diverts the whole meeting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
People will start catching on, like if you do it too much. But like, yeah, like you said, if you're not known to be good, then you can sort of get away with this sort of crap.
Also, as crew, generally, I would always be careful of pairs. I mean, pairs like are something that is like a double-edged sword, right? There's always gonna be pairs, and it's really hard to determine if you can clear the pair or not.
Yeah.
So you should always try to like remove pairs from the game, but sometimes you just can't. So you have to keep them in mind. If someone pairs round 1, and then they're both alive on 6, and one of them is getting sussed,
then
you should like.
So the thing about pairs and like clears in general that I find really helpful is writing them down. Like if you have a pen and paper, just write down who the pairs are, who are the clears.
Yeah, I also, you should like write down, you should remember the clears from every round. You should remember first kill clears. You should always memorize the clears, because it can help you find an imp if people start dying off. For example, 7 people are cleared. There's 6 people are 5 people are cleared. There's a kill between 4 people. 3 of the people die before reaching 6. So you know who the imp is because there's only one person left.
Right, you can mechanically figure out a guaranteed imposter if you write down the clears. This is also why I tend to ask for the clears to be written in chat, because it's so noisy in the comms, whereas if it's written in the chat, it's like very easy to just see it, and you can't get confused.
Yeah, that's fine. What else could I give as a tip for imp? Oh yeah, for another tip as imp is, in my eyes, if you're imposter, you should always like try to if you can get a solo double, go for it, right? If you can get a solo double, because if you get your first kill and it's not found, they either have a lot of clears, or maybe you might even get cleared for your first kill, but it's just not worth the risk. I feel like getting the solo double off is more worth it, because there is a really high chance your imp teammate also gets a kill after they realize you've solo doubled. But just be careful to not rely on your imp teammate getting a kill, because you could they could not kill and you could be on A and this get 50-50'd. But if you know they got a kill, you can even kill in front of someone. Just be careful they're not scanned or hard cleared. Just kill in front of someone and solo double and just hard accuse them on 7. Then they're on 7. They can't do anything. So and you have a chance of being purple.
The killing in front of people, I want to bring up this point. That becomes more and more viable the longer the game has gone on.
Yeah, definitely.
When you're down to 5, for example, you can call reactor. Don't call lights, don't call comms on 5. Call reactor, and then just kill wherever in front of someone. Like if there are 3 people running together, or 2 people running together, and then you, so you're the third person, kill in front of the sus person and just hard accuse them. At worst, you're in a 50-50, and a 50% chance of winning the game as imposter is great.
Yeah, also I want to bring this up. On 5, in my eyes, going for a common denom play is worth it most of the time, and I'll explain why. It's pretty simple in itself. Actually on 5 you could do anything as solo imp. You could kill it in front of someone and the game would still not be over because yeah, sure. Like on 5, crewmates don't know what's happening. They don't even get a hard clear from the person you hard accuse. For example, I kill in front of Bricknick on 6 and now we're on 5, like we double kill and then I hard accuse him. Like on 7 we double kill, then we're on 5, I hard accuse him on 5. If they vote me, they can't hard clear Bricknick because we could just be going for a common denom play.
Yeah.
And then on 4, they might not even have any clears. So they can't even pre-plan because you have to remember this as crewmate, right? On 4, if you're about to pre-plan, you need to have 2 hard clears. You cannot pre-plan with the lights cage method. 1 goes light cage, 3 stack unless you have 2 hard clears. Otherwise, it's just mechanically impossible for that to work. So
well, unless you have like, let's say 1 hard clear and 1 like medium to hard sus, because you can just keep the hard sus in the cage.
Yeah, but since you're not like, even if the hard sus in the cage, what if the hard sus is not the imp? Because then the other person just kills the scanner.
There's a small chance that you'll end up throwing.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think it's like if there's no timer and you're playing on regular, well, I mean pre-planning is not allowed anymore on it. But just if in case it comes back,
so
you should just force stack.
If you are in that situation where you have 1 hard clear and 1 hard sus, and it's imp server, I would still at least take the chance and try to pre-plan. Even though it's not a guaranteed win, it's still better than not pre-planning. Like, you don't want people to just all split up and die. That's horrible.
It also depends on the task. You can also just force stack with the pre-plan. There's also the way of force stacking, but that only depends on how much time you have left and also how many tasks you have left.
That force stack thing can work for sure. If there's too many tasks, then you're probably going to lose on timer. Because all moving as a clump, you're only going to get 1 task done at a time. There's no parallelism.
Exactly. But yeah, at that point, imps just like played well, I guess. They killed fast, they got on 4. That's just well played by them. Another thing is that on 4, if you are the hard clear, you should try faking tasks to see if the imp kills, because the imp will get really desperate at the very end when tasks are about to be finished. But they'll probably just kill while you're on your task, and they'll hard accuse the other person and you don't know who killed. So there's the way you do that is you just stand on the task that you have and you don't do it instantly. You wait a few seconds and then you start doing it, and maybe like you just go off. That's kind of luck based, but it just gives you the opportunity to see who killed.
That's right. You can also get on the task and then immediately hit escape, because that way you'll be standing in the correct position. But you won't have the task blocking your vision.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that's all like how I play normally. I've written something. There's also the point of fear voting. I think it's pretty controversial. Some people think it's a good way to win.
You think about, if you don't know who it is between 2 people, vote whoever is the scarier imp to keep alive.
Exactly.
Right? Like, get rid of whoever is more likely to win as imp.
I agree. I do think like it can work sometimes, but personally, I've just seen it like lose us a lot of games. Like I personally lost a lot of games from.
It's going to definitely lose you games, but it's kind of a desperate ploy to begin with, because you're already in a pretty bad situation if you're having to rely on that.
It's
a little bit controversial, and it's a little bit like target killing, where it's a bit dirty. But yeah, I mean, like, it really depends on how much you care about winning versus having a good time. Because target killing is pretty toxic.
Something else you should also consider is, if you think a body has died, you should always keep in mind, you should always get clears. If you have 0 clears for a kill, then you are playing bad crew. And if you're also not clear, that is also just not optimal gameplay. You should at least have one clear at the minimum. Because I guess sometimes you don't if you're in specimen alone, but still
you yourself will be clear then.
Yeah, so you should just always try getting at least 1 clear. Just like think about it like this.
1 clear or 1 sus, like some sort of information. If you're not helping the crew, you're part of the problem, because you're gonna get sus.
Just think about it like this way, right? Just like, if you just think about it this way, what if a body dies right now? Do I have clears? Like, just think about it that way. If you can answer yes to that question, then it's fine. If you can't, then you should probably get.
Or at least, am I clear? Like you said, if
Yeah, at
you're
least.
alone in Specie with lights out, you're probably not the imposter.
Yeah, that's completely fine in my eyes.
Oh, here's
So
another cool tip. This one I learned from Skeld, where cameras are super broken, but you can kind of see it on Polus as well. If lights are down and someone is standing still on a task, they are probably crewmate.
I mean,
The reasoning is the imposter isn't going to waste the time while lights are down by standing still faking a task because no one's going to see them. Like, they're not going to
yeah,
get clear and they're not going to get a kill. So, yeah, it's like a big brain. Maybe they're marinating you, but most people don't marinate that way. So, they're probably just crewmate.
Yeah, that's fine. I think like those are most of my tips. But yeah, I would just suggest voting with good crew if they die. That is going to win you a lot of games most of
The,
the time.
the only thing about that tip is that it doesn't really help new people because they don't know who the good crewmates are. So there's a
Yeah,
little
I
bit of
guess.
there's an opportunity to do a bit of research before you play your first 5 or so ranked games. Just look at the leaderboard or like ask around who are the crewmates that I should trust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just be careful, like just be careful. I mean, the game, also you should be also be like you guys, like most people in the server, like in purple, don't play admin, right? But admin is still pretty strong, even though the blips don't show up anymore. It's just that most
What
people
do you
just
mean the
don't
blips
prefer
don't
playing.
show up anymore?
I mean, before the update, you could see if someone killed, right? The blip would go on
Oh,
and
I
off.
see what you mean. Okay, yeah, the flash for a kill. That
Yeah.
used to be super broken.
Yeah, but now you can't. But you can still tell if someone killed by just asking who was in O2, and
Yeah,
if the body, like, you
and
find.
at the very least, it can give you some clears. Like
Mhm.
most new people, I think, get a bit intimidated by things like admin and door logs because they don't understand how to use it, so they just don't bother using it.
Yeah, I agree. Um, yeah, that from what I can see, those are all my tips. I don't really have anything else.
I have another
Also,
tip.
some.
It's just about like meeting candor. Let the person who reported or who hit the button start the meeting. Don't just like immediately give your info because you're probably not the first priority.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, also something else you should probably consider is if you have to ask yourself, am I sure can I clear this person? Don't clear them unless it is absolutely necessary.
Yeah, for
You,
that type of situation, I just write it down on my paper for myself. I don't like advertise it to everyone else. Like if I see, for example, in that game just now, Mikey danced around in Light's Cage looking for a venter, and he had an easy kill on me. I'm not going to bother advertising that to everyone in the meeting, but I now know his crew.
yeah, okay.
GG's, this was good. Thanks for spending the
Yeah.
time. Really appreciate you doing this. I'll go ahead and clip the Twitch stream and then maybe create a
Mm-hmm.
YouTube video. But yeah, thanks for your time.
All right.
Take
All
care.
right. See ya.
See you later.
See ya.